This video will discuss why and how to include related research in your thesis. A large part of a master thesis is to describe scientific research conducted by others and relate this to your own work. You cannot write a master thesis in a vacuum, and you should place your thesis clearly in the context of previous research. Your thesis should attempt to fill a gap in previous knowledge, but to identify that gap, you must provide an overview of related research within your field. The introduction and discussion are the parts of your thesis where you present the majority of related research. You may also refer to previous studies and underlying theory in your methods part. If your thesis includes a theory or background section, these will also primarily consist of description of related research. The result part of your thesis usually does not contain any related research, as this is the part where you should focus solely on your own findings. We will discuss how to present your own research findings later in this module, but here we will discuss how to present related research in your thesis. When presenting others' research, it is important that you build an understanding of what they have actually done to display it correctly. Such an understanding requires in-depth reading and understanding of your sources. This is necessary to be able to apply your sources correctly when discussing them, and may even be vital for how you develop your own research questions. You may find yourself in a situation during your defense when your examiner not only probe you about your own research, but also about the related research you have presented in your thesis, to ensure you have actually read and understood it. It is vital that you have actually read the entire article that you refer to. Do not just read the summary or abstract of an article and describe the results directly from that. This is an useful approach when doing preliminary research and when searching for relevant literature. Once you've done that and assessed it as a useful source that you want to refer to in your thesis, you should read the entire article with that in mind. Try to get an overview of not only the results and how they've discussed the significance of these, but also try to get a basic understanding of how they achieved these results. Remember that not all published research is high-quality research. Critically assess the underlying assumptions and methods of previous research and maybe even discuss this in your thesis. Describe related research in your own words. This shows that you've really understood it and are able to explain it to others. Try to limit your use of direct quotes if something has not been said exceptionally well by the author. Direct quotes is generally more uncommon in natural science compared to the social sciences, where it's used more commonly. How extensive you describe each related study you refer to in your thesis depends on your emphasis that you put on that study. If it is vital for the development of your own research questions and hypotheses, or you're comparing it with your own results, you should at least briefly describe how the study was conducted. If you have discovered a weakness in former studies and therefore want to dismiss those findings, you also need to give a more detailed description of their approach and the flaws this include. Generally, you should be careful about dismissing previous research completely. Remember that making your own claims do not have to entail criticizing what everyone else has done. You're still only at master's level and may not have a complete understanding of other scholars' research. This does not mean that you cannot be critical, but express your concerns in a courteous manner. If you're writing about something with opposing views, acknowledge those views and studies that show different results from your own. In science, it is important not to present research or evidence from only one side of the debate. Acknowledging that others found different results than yourself does not automatically weaken your own findings, especially if you discuss why these results might be different. Maybe they used slightly different methods than you. Maybe their research was conducted under conditions, or perhaps there are weaknesses with your own or their methods. It is much better to present and discuss this than to ignore and fail to acknowledge it. You will never be able to describe all research conducted on your topic. Critically assess and select the most relevant and highest quality research. Never say that no research has been conducted on a topic. You will never have the full overview of all previous research. Remember that much research is produced across the world, which may not be available in international journals or even in English. You can state that there is limited research on a topic, but be very careful with ever claiming that no research exists. When presenting related research in your thesis, it is important that you narrow the literature down to what is most relevant for your study. Your thesis should not become a book describing everything you learned throughout your years at university. Still, you need to provide the necessary framework for your own research and show that you can discuss your own work in relation to related research. How extensive your reference list and review of related research should be varies greatly in different study programs and with different supervisors. If you are writing your thesis as a research article, it will probably contain less extensive discussions of related research, but might still have a rather extensive reference list. Be conscious on how extensive the literature review you want to include in your thesis will be, and discuss this with your supervisor. Remember that at NMBU it is possible to register for a special reading list for your thesis of 5, 10, or 15 credits. If you want to conduct a more extensive literature review than what is possible as part of your thesis, this might be a good option. Extra time will then be set off on your defense for questions related to the extra literature you have read.